you ever spent time with someone who seems friendly, but left you feeling insecure and emotionally exhausted after you got home? If so, you may have encountered someone who has toxic personality traits. Toxic traits refer to habits, behaviors, and ongoing actions that harm others. Many toxic traits, like self-centeredness, can be subtle, and we want to see the best in people. Naturally, identifying toxic people in your life can be tricky. But toxic individuals are more common than you may think. According to the journal Violence and Victims, 48.4% of women and 48.8% of men have experienced psychological aggression from a partner. Plus, according to a recent Korn Ferry study, 35% of employees say that their boss is the single biggest source of stress at work. Not all behaviors are quite so dramatic. Let's explore toxic traits you should watch out for in relationships, at work, home, or anywhere else. What are personality traits? A personality trait is a characteristic that influences how a person thinks, feels, and acts. It is a part of who they are. Personality traits make up a person. For example, a person's level of introversion or extroversion is a trait. While they usually stay the same, traits can change over time due to factors like experiences, belief systems, and major life stages. When discussing traits, we need to draw a line between a trait and behavior. Traits are often innate. Behaviors, on the other hand, are actions we have control over. For example, a person's level of openness is a trait, but lying is a behavior. When people talk about toxic traits, they aren't usually talking about traits of a person. The term instead refers to a person's behavior. Behaviors can be characterized as healthy or unhealthy. Unhealthy or toxic behaviors include selfishness, hostility, and manipulation. Let's take a look at many examples of toxic traits. If you saw someone throwing a chair through a window, you might think they have the toxic trait of anger, but not all toxic personality traits manifest so obviously. Many people's toxic traits come out in subtle ways. You may not recognize them straight away when you encounter toxic behaviors in a relationship. Conflict avoidance. A person who struggles with conflict avoidance may have a hard time talking to others because they're afraid of upsetting people. For example, a conflict avoidant friend may allow another friend to insult them out of fear of an argument. Impulsiveness. An impulsive person may make rash decisions based on emotion. For example, an impulsive friend may spend too much money because they lack emotional regulation skills. Laziness. A lazy person may struggle to finish tasks because they lack inspiration, motivation, and drive. For example, an employee may avoid completing their tasks because they don't want to. Apathetic. A person with apathy may struggle to care about things, goals, or people. For example, apathetic managers may struggle to work on their relationships with you because they aren't invested. A lack of self-awareness. A person who lacks self-awareness may struggle to reflect on their thoughts, actions, and words. For example, a toxic friend who isn't self-aware may not understand why they haven't reached a goal, despite sabotaging their efforts. Absolutism. A person with absolutism may view situations, people, or the world through a binary like good or bad. For example, an absolutist friend may see another friend as bad because they upset them, despite the friend apologizing. Disruptiveness. A disruptive person may speak over or interrupt others for personal gain. For example, an employee may play music out loud in the office. Arrogance. A person who displays arrogance may believe they are more intelligent and more important than others. As such, they may treat others rudely or condescendingly. For example, an arrogant and selfish employee may refuse to listen to anyone else's ideas and are not willing to collaborate. Greediness. A greedy person may take more than they need to the detriment of others. For example, a friend with greediness may eat a slice of cake you saved for a friend who missed the cake cutting. Stinginess. A stingy person may refuse to share their time, possessions, or money. They do this even when someone else deserves them. For example, a stingy family member may refuse to pay their part of a restaurant bill. Sneakiness. A sneaky person may conceal their actions and words from others for personal benefit. For example, a colleague may sabotage your work by neglecting to pass on a crucial instruction from your manager. Thoughtlessness. A thoughtless person may not consider how their actions or words may impact others. For example, a family member may tell your extended family a secret you shared with them in confidence. Argumentativeness. An argumentative person may get joy or pleasure from starting arguments. For example, a person may look for flaws in a family member's idea and attempt to rile them into a fight. Not all conflict is bad, but being argumentative for the sake of arguing can be detrimental. Quick to anger. A person who's quick to anger may become upset due to a trigger that would offend most people. For example, a colleague may get angry quickly and struggle to calm themselves down. Bossiness. A bossy person may take charge of a situation, demand control, or assert dominance over others. For example, a bossy colleague may micromanage your part of a project, despite not holding authority over you. A bossy colleague may also challenge your manager's leadership or undermine them. Self-centeredness. A person who displays self-centeredness may focus on their wants over another person's needs. For example, a self-centered friend may refuse to comfort another friend because they'd rather do something else. Negativity. A person with negativity may see the world as cold, cruel, and evil. They may frequently complain, ruin the fun, or dampen people's spirits with defeatist comments and actions. Judgmentalness. A judgmental person may judge situations, people, or events without experience. For example, a friend may tell you that a concert will be boring or lame before you even arrive. Dishonesty. A person who displays dishonesty may lie or mislead others. The act of lying is a choice, but dishonesty is the tendency to lie. Many people use dishonesty as a coping mechanism. Rigidness. A rigid person may be stubborn, inflexible, or unable to adapt when things don't go as planned. For example, an employee may struggle to adapt when a new boss joins your team and changes the team dynamic. Rudeness. A person who displays rude behavior may speak or act without manners that most people would define as culturally appropriate. For example, someone may talk to a server without saying please or thank you. A lack of empathy for others. A person who lacks empathy for others may struggle to understand other people's feelings and thoughts. For example, a leader that lacks empathy may not notice that one of their employees is struggling to complete work because they are tired. Cynicism. A person who displays cynicism may think that interests and goals motivate people to the detriment of others. For example, a cynical person may assume that a polite server was only friendly for a good tip. Recklessness. A reckless person may not consider the danger their actions place upon themselves or others. For example, someone with recklessness may encourage you to undertake a dangerous activity. Pickiness. A picky person may struggle in new situations, outside their comfort zone, or don't match their standards. For example, a picky eater may refuse to eat a meal you cook for them because they haven't tried a key ingredient before. When discussing common examples of toxic traits, you should remember two critical things. First, some behaviors can manifest positively in certain scenarios, but that doesn't make them positive. For example, a bossy person may produce high-quality work that impresses their colleagues and bosses, but bossiness can cause the person to feel stressed and ruin otherwise healthy relationships. Second, our behaviors don't define us as people. This is true whether the behavior is negative or positive. For example, a person isn't negative or rigid. Instead, a person may have the toxic trait of negativity or rigidity. We can change our toxic traits through introspection and reflection. We can also change them by working on our mental health. Someone with toxic traits may cover up their behavior by lying to you or gaslighting you. Gaslighting is a type of manipulation where the gaslighter tries to make you question your version of the events. You'll know someone is trying to gaslight you if they make you feel unsure of your feelings or insecure in your knowledge. However, there is a difference between someone disagreeing with you and gaslighting you. Have you ever had any toxic people close to you